Hey everyone, welcome on into WFRV Plus Sports Night. Cameron, there with you, riding solo as we get you ready for some postseason football. You heard me. Postseason football, it's here. Can't wait. Packers taking on the Bears this weekend. The rubber match, the grudge match, whatever you want to call it, the rematch of what had happened 2.5 weeks ago, in which the Bears came back, beat the Packers in a fashion that I don't even think they could have believed, and then Green Bay goes on to lose their next two to end the regular season, and now the momentum has dipped. But talking to a lot of the guys in that locker room, they know clean slate, right? Every team 0-0, and that's something of note. Let's start off by giving you an injury update. Bo Melton, who got injured in that first half on special teams, I think it was the punt return, went for a tackle and injured his knee. Matt LaFleur saying it's not as serious as an ACL, but it's enough of, the severity is enough in which he won't play the rest of the season. So he was placed on injured reserve. Desmond Ridder brought up to the active roster as QB3 while Clayton Tune was released. Those are really the big moves of the day. Javon Bullard, who also got hurt late in that game against Minnesota, he said he's all right, so he's good to go for this weekend. So that's positive. And also what's positive is having this guy back in the fold. I think everyone can agree. Jordan Love, who could have played against the Vikings, was the backup quarterback because Malik Willis was ruled out and was an inactive on one of the 7 inactives that wasn't going to go. But Malik Willis seems fine as well. But Jordan Love, he is set to play this weekend, and boy, is it good to have a healthy Jordan Love, right? Someone that you can confidently throw out there. He wanted to play in the Ravens game in Week 17, didn't pass the test version of concussion protocol, and then, of course, the coaching staff decided to rest him and start Clayton Tune and just try to get out of that game as injury-free as possible against the Vikings. But now the Packers have lost 4 in a row. Again, doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of things because you saw what happened back in 2010. The Packers were the lowest seed in the NFC and still ran the table. But the fact that Jordan Love is out there, he's a full participant, no injury designation, that can only mean good things for a Green Bay squad that is hoping a deep playoff run is in their future. And remember, this is a wide open playoff picture. You think of all the teams from top to bottom, right? The Seattle Seahawks got that 1 seed, but it's not like they're world beaters in terms of consistency. They've done it this year. The defense looks great. Sam Darnold as well. But just as they boast a 14-3 record, it was similar to the Vikings a year ago, in which Darnold, they hit the road and got crushed as the 5 seed against the LA Rams. And it's similar to the Chicago Bears, who don't have a lot of playoff experience. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, they haven't played their best football despite being defending Super Bowl champs. You got the Carolina Panthers, who needed another team to win for them to ultimately leapfrog the Bucs to make it into the postseason. Then you got the Rams and Niners, which becomes a little more of a complicated subject in terms of experience because Matthew Stafford, most likely the MVP of the season, and the Rams, they've been there, done that. Same with the Niners with Brock Purdy and that arsenal around him. Even the guys in the trenches, you think of Trent Williams and when Fred Warner comes back, like, you got teams with experience on the back end, but the teams that the Packers will most likely have to face, they beat the Bears, they go to Seattle. You're talking about 2 teams that don't have as much playoff experience as maybe the Packers have had. They've played 3 postseason games over the last 2 years, which could bode well. But like I said, having Jordan Love back will be huge, and having his main guy to protect him. Matt LaFleur calls him the most consistent offensive lineman on the team, and injury has sidelined Zach Tom for the last 3 weeks after he went out that Broncos game with a knee ailment, and he was back at practice. He was a limited participant, but all indications are that he will play on Saturday, and they're getting a majority of their hurt players back. Of course, you got the 15 guys on injured reserve, but outside of that, getting Tom back, you're getting Jacobs back and healthy. He said, he told us we're gonna talk to or hear from Jacobs in a little bit, but he told us it's the best his body's felt in 6 weeks. So you rested you rested your players in Minnesota in order to leapfrog yourself in terms of health into the postseason with the roster that you have pretty much constructed from the beginning of the year, minus Tucker Kraft and minus Micah Parsons and Devontae Wyatt. And now you go in as healthy as possible. The Bears, they have a short week from playing the Lions on Sunday, and they played all their starters. So again, there are a lot of variables to this Chicago-Green Bay matchup, but I think that the biggest one might be who's in, who's out. And the fact is, the Packers have a lot of guys in compared to out. You know, in terms of what they were weeks ago, right? Because it just felt like they were the walking wounded with Evan Williams going out and so many other guys. So the Packers look like they're back on track in the health department. And after the break, we're going to talk to QB1 Jordan Love, who again was at practice. He's been practicing the last couple of weeks ever since clearing concussion protocol. And we're going to chat with Jordan Love next on the show. Oh, almost forgot to bring in that music. Can't forget that music. I love that music. Hey everyone, Cameron is there, right back with you here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. Let's chat with QB1 Jordan Love ahead of his 4th postseason game as the starter of the Packers in the first. I'm just gonna let it play and then I'll explain a little bit.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The context behind that is him and his wife Ronica, or fiance Ronica, are having a child, which is amazing for Jay Love and the family.
For this week and this game, how would you do so?
Excited. Very excited. It's playoffs, you know what I mean?
What's the biggest thing you've learned about playing on this stage from the last 3 playoff games you played the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows this playoffs, it's win or go home. You got to go out there, play your best ball, and execute at a high level. And if you don't, you're going to end up losing the game. And it comes down to who executes the best, who takes care of the ball the best, and who puts up the most points. So you just got to go out there, play your best ball, and execute at a high level, or else you'll be going home.
How much do you think that experience helps you going into this game, or does it make a difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't make a difference. I think we got a lot of young guys. It'll be their first playoffs. My first playoff game, we went in there and did some good things. So it just comes down to going out there, like I mentioned, and playing your best ball. Having a great week of prep. Staying focused all week in the plan, and just staying mentally dialed in all week.
Does it feel like it's been 3 weeks since you've played in a game?
Oh, man, no, it doesn't really. I think still just practicing all week and, staying locked in. And, obviously was suited up last week, was ready to go. But, it's been a couple weeks. But, no, it doesn't feel like that. I think, just staying with it in practice.
How much Bears prep did you put into last week?
A little bit. We watched a little bit of tape and, sat down with Matt. We went over a couple of things. And but you still don't, want to put too much in. You still don't know if it's going to be them or if it's going to be a different team. So, you look at some stuff, start planning, kind of rewatch the games we had against them and see what they did. Yeah.
In 2023, Jordan, you guys had a lot of momentum when you went down to Dallas and ended up rolling. Last year, not so much, and this year, not so much. Is momentum important or not? And if it is important, how do you get it back?
Yeah, no, I think it's something to look at. But at the end of the day, playoffs come around, everybody starts 0-0. You got to find a way to go win that week. And, I think you look back 2023, we're trying to win every game just to get into playoffs. And, I think that momentum might have helped carry us over. But at the end of the day, it's 0-0. You gotta go out there, play your best ball and execute, and find ways to win that first one and then get rolling.
Is there any worry about any kind of rest factor because you haven't played in a while, even though you practiced a pretty full practice last week?
No, I don't have any concern about that.
What's your recollection of the last play you had at Soldier Field, which is the hit you took?
Yeah, I got hit and got a concussion and left the game.
Do you think it was clean?
What, the hit?
Yeah.
Man, it's a hit. It is what it is.
With the rivalry being what it is, do you feel like it'll ramp up in the playoffs even more, or is it kind of already at fever pitch?
No, definitely. The intensity of playoff games definitely amps up, and like I mentioned, it's win or go home. Everybody knows what's at stake. I think going into it, playing a team that it's going to be our 3rd time playing them, 3rd matchup. So the intensity will be there. The emotions will be there, and it's a rivalry game and a playoff game at the same time. So everything will be there.
Jordan, what do you take from the last game when you did play against the Bears? What's kind of the key for the offense heading into this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, the key for us as offense is scoring points when we get in the red zone. I think that's something that we didn't do as good of a job of in the last game. I think we've put some good drives together. We've executed, but we just got to find ways to score touchdowns when we get down there.
Is that why Nathaniel Hackett's back this week to help with the gold zone?
No. Hack's been around. He's bounced in and out, I think, majority of the season and been helping out, I think, with the defense a good amount. But no, it's always good to have him around. And, yeah.
Jordan, you're a competitive guy. You've done a lot of good things in this league. The last 2 playoff losses, though, I'm sure, are games that you would have liked to certainly
yourself had back. How do you sit on those this week? I mean, do you not even think of them at all? Do they gnaw on you? Like, how do you process those when you're going into that postseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got to understand, as a player, as a quarterback, that you got to find ways to not make mistakes, and those are going to be the plays that are going to kind of haunt you all offseason. If you go in there and make mistakes, have turnovers, and things that'll end up losing you the game. So you got to find ways to just go out there, play your best ball, execute, and not have any, plays that are like, man, I wish I could have got that back. Ain't no wish you could have got it back. We got to go find ways to make them.
Are you better for going through those at this point? And if so, like, how do those experiences kind of shape you as a quarterback?
Yeah, I think every experience, going on the field, every play is something to learn from and grow from, and that's the mindset I've always taken. And I think, like I mentioned, with the going in playoffs, having a win and then having a couple tough losses, it all shapes you going into the offseason, all stuff to learn from. But right now we're just focused on this moment and going out there, like I mentioned, playing our best ball and kind of learning from the past couple games we've had against the Bears.
You've spoken to the team with the message going into the playoffs here today. How do you lead? Are you an example leader? Are you a speech leader? And particularly this time of year?
No, I'm definitely. I always try to lead by example. I've never been a big rah-rah guy, giving any crazy speeches, pep talks. But it's something I've tried to grow into that role and get better at. But I've always, focused on trying to lead by example and just go out there and put in the work and showcase through that.
Do you feel extra this time of year? For some of these guys who haven't gone through this experience, the leadership aspect of it, do you feel more responsibility on that or not necessarily?
No, I think for me it's just staying consistent. It's something that, I got to try and be the same person every day. And, I always try to lead, like I mentioned, by example. Talk to the guys on the side if I feel like guys need a little extra motivation. But, yeah, I think it's one of those things where I always have the mindset to follow me. And, I'll try and lead you in the right direction every time.
How much interaction do you have with Getsy? And if it's a little bit, what impact has he had this year?
A lot. Getsy's a guy who's in the quarterback room with us every day. So he's done a great job just, helping out. He helps Matt out a lot with game planning and things like that. But, I got a lot of love for Getsy. He was my quarterback coach my first couple years here in the league. And so we got a great relationship. But, yeah, he's the guy who's in there with us every day in the quarterback room.
Jordan, with Josh Jacobs and Zach Tom, they've been pretty much banged up for most of this year. What would it mean to get them more fresh with the rest they just got for Saturday?
Yeah, it'd be huge. I think that was obviously the plan with last week, trying to rest guys, is just trying to get guys back as healthy as possible. Obviously, this is the week when it all matters. So just trying to find ways to keep getting those guys back. Obviously, Zach's missed a little bit of time, and we're hopeful he'll be able to go.
Jordan, the last game he played, obviously, was at Soldier Field. Will it be weird at all that sort of your return to action, you're walking out of that same tunnel again? Have you thought about that at all?
No, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to go back there and, obviously get another opportunity.
What's unique about playing there?
I think any road environment is tough. It's a little bit different as offense, using silent cadence and things like that. It's going to be a loud environment. You got to find ways to be able to communicate still and, adapt to, just a different environment from being at home. But, I don't think, there's anything crazy unique. I think the weather is always a factor playing down there. Similar to here, it's going to be a cold atmosphere, going to be windy. So you just got to find ways to adapt and be able to overcome crowd noise, things like that.
Yeah, early in the season, the defense was really rolling, and you guys didn't have to go put up 30 points on any of those games to win. With the injuries they've had, do you feel the pressure offensively that you're going to have to really get cooking here?
No, I don't feel the pressure. I think the mindset we have as an offense is, like I mentioned before, is we got to go down there and score. Every time we get an opportunity in the red zone, that's where we need to improve. Or that's where we need to be better than we've been the past couple of weeks. And if we do that and go handle business, we'll be happy with the outcome.
Jordan, last year's regular season finale against the Bears, you watch Kristen go down, then you bang your elbow, got to play through that. How much better does it feel this time? You're kind of going in with your pieces, being healthy, people being rested than you did a year ago.
Yeah, no, it feels great. And obviously that was the mindset of holding back the starters. Is a lot of that, came down to, that incident last year with Christian and losing him going in the playoffs, which was, very, very tough. So, to be able to rest some guys and, take a load off their bodies was, great. And I think, guys have been feeling fresh this week and flying around.
The flip side of that is, I know you say you're not worried about the rust, but it has been a long time since you have played, and you're going to have to turn that back on. How hard is that to do?
It's not hard. I don't think it's hard at all. I think, like I mentioned before, when you're practicing throughout the week, you still stay fresh. You're missing some time playing in a game, but we've played a lot of games this season. You got banked reps, but it'd be different if you're not practicing throughout the week and really not doing anything. That's when it could be a little bit more of a factor.
What does this?
Notice today that Bo Melton's going to IR. What do you? He called him a Swiss Army knife. What are you going to miss without Bo out there?
Yeah, Bo's done a lot of great things for the team, all throughout the season, and not stuff he does off the field, just the energy he brings every day, and it's tough to be able to lose a guy like that. And obviously he's stepped up, made some big plays on offense, and then I think he plays every special team. So he's a guy who's always out there on the field, and it's tough. But like we always mention, that's when other guys got to step up and have a bigger role.
What does this rivalry mean to you, Packers Bears?
Yeah, it's definitely a rivalry game. I think since I've got here with the Packers, it's something that you understand what it is, playing in this game, and I think it's amped up over the years, and I think obviously with us splitting, going 1-1 on the season, it's going to be at an all-time high this week.
How do you grow to understand what it is when you didn't grow up here? You probably weren't interested in it until you got drafted.
Yeah, I think just being here, being with the team, we talk about it whenever it's Bears week, and just understanding, the history of the Packers and the Bears, the oldest, rivalry in the NFL. So I think, like you mentioned, it's something that, I wasn't even too familiar with before I got here. And then I think since I've been here, it's something you learn about.
I guess what is it like for you? Obviously you guys have played a lot, but not as much in the playoffs. As the Packers quarterback, what does it mean that you're going to be on this stage and playing in one of the biggest games in this rivalry in a long time?
Yeah, these are the moments you want as a player. You want those big moments, a big rivalry game. Like you mentioned, we haven't met in the playoffs, and I don't know when the last time was. And so, it's a big stage where it's win or go home. So this is what you want as a player, to be able to thrive in and go out there and play your best ball.
Hey, Jordan, when you were
Well, Jordan, I'll tell you exactly when it last was. 2010 NFC title game, to then go on and win the Super Bowl over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah, it's interesting because obviously the 2010 one, the magnitude of it was so much greater, right? Because you're going to a Super Bowl, and the rivalry of where it was at after 2010, it was all downhill for the Bears, and the Packers really took over because Aaron Rodgers, right, owning the Bears, and it felt like that was the theme. But when you think about it, what the rivalry is now turned into, they've split each of the last four meetings, 2-2. And they get the rubber match in the playoffs when the Bears are having their best season in a decade or a decade and a half. And they're the 2 seed while the Packers just snuck into the playoffs, the 7 seed, even though they've been the gold standard of the rivalry. So the Bears are playing with almost nothing to lose because no one expected them to be this good. And the Packers are playing with nothing to lose because they've already lost everyone. So they're not as good as maybe people would have expected. And they've already played 2 very close games that came down to the wire. I mean, it's cinema. That's all I can say. Get your popcorn ready, 7 o'clock on Saturday. When we come back on WFRV Plus Sports Night, we're going to talk with one of the big keys to a Packers win, or one of the players who could lead the Packers to victory, that being Josh Jacobs, who did not play against Minnesota, of course, due to rest, only carried the ball 4 times against Baltimore. It's a guy who hasn't been used as much ever since he injured his knee and his thigh in that win over the Giants back in Week 10. So we'll chat with Josh, see how he's doing. And he's always a very eloquent talker of how he describes and how he answers questions. So we'll hear from Jacobs next on the show. Okay, let's wrap up the show here on WFRV Plus Sports Night. Cameron is there with you. We heard from Jordan Love, and honestly, I mean, that backfield can be so dangerous when the two of Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs are healthy, but that really hasn't been a case a good amount of the season, or at least toward the back end, with Love going out with the concussion and Josh Jacobs dealing with the bruised knee and the thigh contusion. We chatted with Jacobs today to see how he's feeling, and he's ready to go come playoff time.
I mean, definitely my body, coming into this game is the best I've felt probably in the last 6 weeks. So it's pretty good situation to be in.
So you've gotten used to not playing, and that's really worked out for you? So you enjoy that so much?
I mean, I'm not going to say I like not playing, but, obviously, these moments and these type of games is where it really matters the most. So it's gonna be fun, man. I like that I'm gonna be able to hit the ground running.
Have you been able to keep the swelling out during this
Oh, yeah.
time, or is it still coming back?
No, it's been pretty good. Like I haven't really felt it at all. Even like taking full reps and everything at practice hasn't bothered me, so it's been pretty good.
The single run from your time here that stands out to me is the wild card one at Philly, where you drive like 3 tacklers to the goal line. To me, that epitomizes your play. How ready are you to do that physically now and emotionally now that it's go time?
Yeah, definitely know that, what's at stake here. Obviously familiar with this team, and obviously we split, 1-1 with them, and, being able to go against a divisional rival, first game, in the playoffs, that's what we can only ask for, a team that we know, a team that we're pretty much familiar with, and it's going to be about really just coming in, executing, doing the details that we need to do, and, playing hard.
What can a very healthy Josh Jacobs do in the playoffs?
I don't know. We're going to have to see. It's going to be fun, though. Like I said, it feels good to be able to just hit the ground running and be able to actually, get up to my speeds and, make my cuts the way that I normally make them and things like that. Feels good to be able to do that. So we're going to see.
You won't know until you're out there, but like in the past when you were saying the swelling's down, you would take
Yeah.
a hit and it would get bad. Is
Yeah.
the hope that if you take a hit like that this time, it's not going to be bad?
I don't think it will be. Plus, I got so much, I got so much extra pads and stuff now. Like, even if I get hit on it, I'm not too much worried about it swelling back up. I think if it was to swell up, it'll probably be something I'll deal with after the game, not really necessarily during the game. So we'll see how it goes.
What do you take from the offense in the first matchup with the Bears, and what's the key to, I guess, basically getting it done offensively?
Definitely executing, starting fast, converting on third downs. But really the biggest thing I would say, especially in our last matchup with them, is just when we get in the red zone, just making sure we get points, limiting our turnovers and making sure we get points.
How much does it matter to you to be the guy your teammates can lean on, to just take it on your shoulders and take over a game if it has to be that?
I'm gonna say for me, I'll take pride in it, just because, I know it's a lot of people that depend and we all count on each other, depend and count on each other. But to know that, like in those biggest moments or when them time at need, that if they looked at me and things like that, I'll take a lot of pride in it, and I'll try to make them right more times than not.
Josh, knowing how much pride you take in it and how rarely you lose fumbles, how much of a motivation is that? I know it's a long time ago, but you haven't had a lot of opportunities to atone, if you will.
Like they lead the league in turnovers. So that's something that we definitely know about their team. We know that they're gonna play 60 minutes and some. A lot of their games they've been down in the fourth quarter and come back and find a way to win. So for me, protecting the ball, especially in that last game, because I think about that drive. I'm like, man, if we score right there, really the game is really over. So that's something that I definitely think about. That's something that one of the coaches brought up to me, earlier today. So it's definitely been on my mind, and I'm not gonna change how I play the game. I don't want to go in there overthinking, but I'm gonna run hard, and we're gonna see how it play out.
Josh, you mentioned how these two teams like to play for full 60 minutes. The last two games have been close. Do you anticipate this one being close as well?
Yeah, I anticipate it being close. It's a playoff atmosphere. Everybody's going to be a little more chippy. The edge is going to be there. The emotion is going to be there. And, it's win or go home. So I definitely expect it to be a good game. But hopefully we on the good side of that.
A lot of your teammates have said after these last couple of games, they used the word play style.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the biggest factor going to this game, a team that you've already faced twice this year?
I would say play style is definitely big, but I would say just executing is bigger than play style. Obviously, play style, it'll get you through when you don't execute sometimes. It'll bail you out. But like if you execute and you on your details, it's really hard to beat a team like that, especially when all 11 guys is playing, with the same type of mindset and the same type of in-sync, play style. I think it's hard to beat a team like that.
Josh, the sentiment around the locker room was that you guys really wanted to see the Bears in the playoffs. Did you feel that way as well?
I wanted to see the Bears. I wanted to see the Eagles. I feel like it's a few teams that we kind of like still, owe some things to. And, those are two of the teams that I felt like I wanted the most. So I really didn't care where we went. I was just ready to be in there and ready to figure out when we play so I can get my mind right.
Jordan's a pretty even keel guy. Do you feel like he's maybe going to be a little bit more up for this one, especially because of how the last one ended?
I don't know if he's gonna be a little more up. I mean, it's hard to. He's kind of who he is, you know what I'm saying? Which is the thing I love the most about him, because the moments are never too big, he's never really rattled in those situations. But I know, a lot of the guys took that hit that he took a little personal, So I'm not saying we're gonna go out there and play dirty or nothing like that, but we definitely gonna defend our brothers.
What's your level of confidence in him just with how Jordan has played all season, that he can do whatever you guys need to win you guys a playoff game?
I mean, he a big, like I've been saying since I've been here, he's a big reason why I even decided to come. I believed in him before I even seen him on a day-to-day basis. And seeing him on a day-to-day basis, just the way he works and, the type of leader he is, and his throwing ability is crazy. He threw a ball today. I'm like, I don't know how he did it. But he's just one of those guys, man. He's a special player. And I can't wait for him to be able to, have this opportunity to show the world.
You know him better than most. What does Trayvon bring to your secondary?
Trey, Trey, man, I mean, when he's on his game, I mean, I feel like he's, top 3 corner in this league, real rangy. A lot of people don't know he came into Bama, so we came into Bama together. And he actually started off as a receiver, and Saban converted him to a DB. But so he has those ball skills, So whenever the ball is in the air, I believe in and have faith that he can go up there and go get it. So it's gonna be fun. I don't know how they're gonna use him exactly, but I would like to see him get some plays out there. So we'll see.
And we'll see if Trayvon Diggs is a big part of the game plan, because of course the Bears, outside of when they played the Cowboys, they haven't seen Trayvon Diggs in a Packers uniform and how they can intertwine him in terms of that defensive scheme. That'll be very interesting to see. We talked to Trayvon Diggs today, and you can tell he provided an extra bit of fervor and a vibe shift, whether it be in the defensive room, even though the defensive room has always been great in terms of how they approach the week in each game. But something about having Diggs out there, and he already says he feels right at home and he's fitting perfectly. Curious to see how he's used, or how much he is used in that game this weekend. That'll do it for WFRV Plus Sports Night. Thanks so much for joining us. We will catch you tomorrow to preview more from Bears Packers in the wild card round as Green Bay looks to make a deep playoff run. That'll do it. Thank you again for tuning in. It's been Cam, and we will see you tomorrow.